Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset of the seminar, please be reminded that it would be highly appreciated if all of you could put your mobiles in silent mode or flight mode. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all stand up as we begin this inaugural function with the national anthem.
Kita koti-koti sampai aku aksara Biar pada kembali sultan para aksara Jangan bumi santi bumi karai tahan di mana Akan dayuk jatuh amru masih bumi ni pada Bangun santi bahasa bermasa sedikit sakit salah Ada kami rasa amru saya jangan dipada
Thank you, be seated. It is my honor to welcome you all to the South Asian Regional Seminar on the topic A Discourse on the Issue of Migration in Nepal, hosted by St. Xavier's College and Indian Social Institute, ISI, Bangalore, India, and particularly to this inaugural function which will kick off the two-day program. Migration is one of the most pressing geopolitical, economic, and social issues in the world today, if not the most pressing concern. The World Migration Report 2018, published by the International Organization for Migration, estimates that there were around 244 million international migrants in the world in 2015, which equates to 3.3% of the global population. Here, in our home country, according to the status report of the Labor Migration for Employment, in the consecutive fiscal years 2015 to 2017, the Department of Foreign Employment issued 7,86,564 permits for foreign employment to over 100 destination countries. Researchers tell us that over 15% of the citizens of our country live outside the districts of their birth. In this context, this two-day engagement on the issue of migration in Nepal, I am sure, lead us to a better scholarly knowledge on the issue and explore ways of responding to it effectively and adequately. May I now call upon our chief guest of the day, Honorable former Minister of the country, Dr. Baburam Bhattrai, to light the lamp indicating the commencement of the program. Thank you, sir. May I now invite the students of SXC Magis to invoke God's blessings on these two days and on all of us with their prayer dance.
Jai Ho Sino Mangal Bose, Jai Ho Sino Mangal Bose, Jita Sagai Hari Om Mangal Bose, Jita Sagai Hari Om Mangal
Thank you, dear members of SXC Magic. May I now invite on stage Father Gigi Vargas SJ, the principal of St. Xavier's College, to deliver the welcome address.
Please be seated. Migrants and refugees are not pawns on the chessboard of humanity. They are children, women, and men who leave or who are forced to leave their homes for various reasons, who share a legitimate desire for knowing and having, but above all, for being more, said Pope Francis. Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, Father Selvaraj, Father Martin, distinguished guests, speakers, participants, and everyone present here. St. Xavier's takes great pride in welcoming you to this conference on migration. The issue of migration and migrants have caught the attention of the world in recent times due to what has happened, what it has been happening around the world. The image of Alan Kurdi, that little Syrian boy whose dead body was found washed ashore, portrayed to some extent the misery, the unfathomable suffering that the migrants undergo in the world. For us in Nepal, migration is a reality that we have rubbed shoulders with for many years. In fact, many of us sitting here are migrants in one way or the other and have undergone the struggles of migration and migrants. However, the issue of migration has not got as much attention as it should get in our context. In fact, it is so much part of our lives that we don't think that it exists. And in many cases, I suspect that our concern is limited to their numbers, statistics, and research, and we see them as a concern for the NGOs and INGOs. So through this seminar, we hope to change such perspectives so that we can become inclusive in our thinking regarding migration. Further, we hope that this conference will enable us to see it as a reality in front of our eyes, to know about the undercurrents of migration and how best to respond to it in our own little ways. The deliberations of the seminar should help us to open our minds, hearts, and hands to the sufferings of migrants and enable us to reach out to them. While addressing the issue of migration requires efforts at the policy level, political will, economic and environmental justice, equitable and access to opportunities and the like. We must, on our part, do what we can to ensure that they are treated with human dignity. Once again, I warmly welcome each one of you this event, hoping that we all have a meaningful and fruitful engagement on the issue of migration and migrants. I end with quoting Pope Francis again. This demands a change in mindset. We must move from considering others as threats to our comfort to valuing them as persons whose life experience and values can contribute greatly to the enrichment of our society. The culture of comfort, which makes us think only of ourselves, makes us insensitive to the cries of the other people, makes us live in soap bubbles, which, however lovely, are insubstantial. They offer a fleeting and empty illusion which results in indifference to others. Indeed, it even leads to the globalization of indifference. May this seminar help us to end that indifference in our lives. Thank you. Have a wonderful conference ahead.
Thank you, Father. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the keynote speaker of the day, who needs no introduction in fact. Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, a former Prime Minister of Nepal, is a politician and a scholar who served as the country's 35th Prime Minister. He is known for his excellence in studies and for topping the school and college board exams. He pursued his master's degree from the Delhi School of Planning and Architecture and received his MTech degree in 1979. He earned his doctorate from JNU New Delhi. Dr. Bhattrai was one of the first politicians to demand the distribution of land to landless farmers, the abolition of treaties that were disadvantageous to his country, and the stoppage of foreign investment in business and other affairs. He was at the forefront of an armed struggle against the repressive laws of the government over 10 long years. He even left the government to float a new party in order to be free and to live according to his ideology. His scholarly works include acclaimed books titled The Nature of Underdevelopment and Regional Structure of Nepal, a Marxist Analysis, Politico-Economic Rationale of People's War in Nepal, and Nepal Krantika Adharharu. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Baburam Bhattrai with a huge round of applause.
Distinguished participants of this seminar, it's my great pleasure to be here with you at this seminar on the issues of migration in Nepal, organized by the St. Xavier's College and Indian Social Institute, Bangalore. I would like to thank the organizers for providing me with this opportunity to share my humble ideas with you. Human migration is generally termed as the movement by people from one place to another with an intention of settling temporarily or permanently in the new location, mainly driven by the desire for better opportunities in the new location. Such movement can be long within a country or from one country to another. In the past, migration was mainly of involuntary in the form of slave trade, human trafficking, or ethnic cleansing. However, the current one is more that of a voluntary type. In fact, all of us are migrants. I believe you agree with me because it is believed that human migration began with the movement of Homo erectus out of Africa across Eurasia about 1.75 million years ago, and Homo sapiens appeared to have occupied all of Africa about 150,000 years ago and moved out of Africa as early as 125,000 years ago. And we all spread out of North Africa and seem to have reached this part of the world about 40,000 years BC. So that way, all of us are migrants. Accelerated pace of migration occurred during the period of exploration in the 15th century. For example, in the 16th century, it is estimated that about 240,000 Europeans entered America, and in the 19th century, over 50 million people left Europe for America. So if we go through the history of migration, we can find three types of migration. One is after industrialization and colonization. This increased the pace of migration because globalized economy also globalized the labor market. People from low-level productive sectors like agriculture were attracted into industrial sector voluntarily. And the second form of migration were due to wars. Similarly, decolonization following after the Second World War also caused migrations. For example, the partition of a country like India into India and Pakistan. Millions of people crossed the border that time. And the other form of migration is the migration of workers from the countryside to the cities in search of work due to the process of urbanization. We see these three types of migrations in history. And coming to the experience of Nepal, the history of migration to and from Nepal is still a debatable issue among scholars. The trade between India, Nepal, and Tibet and China can be traced as far as back as 500 years BC. The arrival from the north, the people of Tibeto-Burman language, and from the south, people of Indo-Aryan language, has been historically established in Nepal. Basically, there are three clusters of nationalities in Nepal, linguistic groups in Nepal, and all of them, some came from the south, some came from the northeast, and some came from the west. That way, all three groups of Nepalese nationalities came from different directions into this country which call Nepal. And when the country of Nepal was united in the 18th century under the leadership of King Prithviraj Shah, and after that also a process of migration took place, especially the Newar traders from Kathmandu. They migrated from different parts to different parts of Nepal, in the west from Kathmandu to Doti, and to the east to Darjeeling and Siliguri and especially Kalimpong. And with the advent of democracy in 1951, another stream of migration took place in Nepal. Before that, our economy had totally virtually closed, and people within the country had to obtain certificates to enter the valley. So once the Rana regime was gone, there is a massive movement of people within the country. And another significant movement of people was after the 1990 movement and during the Maoist insurgency. That time also, many people from the rural areas came to the cities, and the population of Kathmandu increased phenomenally during those periods. If you go back into history, after the 1816 Sugauli Treaty, when Nepal border was confined to the present day boundary, the people migrate to Assam, Darjeeling, Burma in search of jobs. And Nepalese youth were recruited in the British Indian Army, and that was the big outflow of Nepalese youth into foreign countries. And during the First and Second World War, hundreds of thousands of Nepalese youth were recruited in the foreign armies. And those youths who came back to Nepal, they brought fresh ideas, modern ideas, and that started the that sowed the seeds of democratic movement in the country. So that way, this history of out-migration of Nepalese youth played a huge role in bringing about positive political transformation in the country. Unfortunately, even after the advent of democracy, there has been a huge outflow of youth from Nepal. So this is quite worrisome. We don't know the exact figures, but the formal data available with the government says more than 43 lakhs Nepalese youth are working outside the SAARC countries. And we don't know the exact figures of Nepalese workers in India. When I was a student in India, I tried to make some studies, and those days it was generally believed about 4 million people were working in different parts of India. So I don't know the recent figures, but still, if you add that, almost half of the working age youth is forced to migrate to foreign countries. And the question of women migrating to foreign countries or forced to migrate is very inhumane and pitiable. When I was Prime Minister, I tried to check the forced migration of women in some of the countries in the Middle East. But unfortunately, I realized still our women are trafficked and facing a very inhumane conditions in those parts of the world. And in India, the people from the poverty-stricken mountain regions go for seasonal migration, and their number nobody knows. So this way, it can be said almost half of the Nepalese population is in constant motion of internal and external migration. And if you see the flow of internal migration within the country, it's quite natural when the economy based on subsistence agriculture crumbles, it fails to provide gainful employment to the youth, then the youth start migrating to urban areas in search of jobs and better opportunities. In many of these students, I don't know how many of them come from rural areas. In the 1970s, when I came from Gorkha to Kathmandu, I was a migrant student to an urban area, and it's because not only for work, for education, many of our youth are forced to migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas. So that way, the recent information says about 1/3 of the population in Kathmandu Valley now consists of migrant population. That's quite a huge number. So what is the political economic essence and impact of this person? When the traditional economy based on subsistence agriculture breaks down, then the migration process accelerates. With the urbanization process and the rise of industrial and service sector economy, the surplus labor force in the agriculture sector goes to the industrial and service sector. So that way, it has a positive impact. You shouldn't see only migration as only a negative phenomenon. If you don't transfer the labor force in the agriculture sector, where the productivity is objectively very low, country cannot develop. So shifting of labor force from the agriculture sector or the rural areas to the urban areas and to the industrial sector is a positive process. That way, the voluntary migration has a positive impact in the economy. But what we are concerned is about the involuntary or forced or distressed migration, where the people are forced to leave their heartfelt homes in search of better opportunities. That is a negative phenomenon. So we have to differentiate between a voluntary migration and involuntary or distress migration. Voluntary migration has a positive impact, but involuntary and forced migration has a negative impact in the development of economy. So this should be taken into consideration, and especially in the recent years when the Nepalese economy has failed to transform from a backward agricultural economy into a developed, modernized, industrial and service economy, there has been a huge brain drain out of the country. I don't know how many of you will remain in Nepal after a few years. This worries me. This is one of the reasons why, after completing my higher education, I had to jump into a very risky process of armed revolution. Many people, many youth may fail to understand why I did that. Because I realized under the piecemeal approach won't work as long as there is a structural problem within the country. When the system fails to provide gainful employment to its educated youth and forces them to out migrate, the country will never develop. This is one of the reasons when I thought this old autocratic feudal monarchical system had to be done away with and a modern republican secular democratic political system had to be installed. Only then countries can develop. If you see why Europe and America developed, you will find the reason. In the 17th and 18th centuries, before the Industrial Revolution took place, the political revolution, democratic revolution happened there, starting with the advent of democracy or doing away with monarchy in England in the 17th century, and with the Great French Revolution, then only the Industrial Revolution took place in Europe. So always a democratic revolution is followed by industrial revolution. With this, we had indulged in democratic revolutionary process, and now, fortunately, we have had our own democratic constitution. Now is the time to embark on the path of rapid economic development, and only with this will be able to provide gainful employment to our educated manpower within the country. So that way, I feel privileged youth of your generation have an opportunity to remain within the country and contribute for its development. So, friends, before concluding, I'd like to just say a few words of advice to the new generation. You shouldn't lose heart. We human beings are one family. As Homo sapiens, we are spread all over the world. Whether you are in Europe or America, or in South Asia, or in China or Japan, we belong to the same family. The nation state is transient. If you believe in God, God is one. If you believe in science, which I do, the universe started with a big bang, and scientists say it may end in a big crunch and a big black hole. Within this period of lifetime, we human beings are one family, and we are entitled to live any part of the world we choose. And for us, whether we are Nepali or Indian or European or American or Chinese, we are human beings. So there is a saying, there is a verse in Sanskrit which says, Udar Sarita Namtu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. For an enlightened man, the world is a family. So we must say we must say yes to voluntary migration and no to involuntary and distress migration. With this word, I would like to thank the organizers again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring presence and talk. May I now request Father Jiju Burgess SJ to hand over the token of love to our chief guest, Dr. Baburam Bhattrai. Thank you, Father. Thank you, sir. Kindly be seated. As we move towards the end of this inaugural function of the two-day seminar on the issue of migration in Nepal, I would like to invite Father Jomon Jos SJ, the Vice Principal of St. Xavier's College on stage, to explain us certain norms and regulations of the seminar. And with this, I take leave once again, wishing you a very fruitful 2 days. Goodbye, good day. Father Jomon, please.
The students, please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of St. Xavier's College, Kathmandu, and Indian Social Institute, Bangalore, India, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable former Prime Minister of our country, Dr. Baburam Bhattrai. Your presence has been indeed an honor to us, and your reflections on the issue of migration in Nepal set the right tone for this seminar. Thank you, sir, and so we give a loud round of applause for this presence here. May I place also on record our appreciation for all the invited dignitaries who took time to be with us at this inaugural function. Your presence indeed is a huge encouragement for us. Thank you for coming. May I ask Honorable Chief Guest, former Prime Minister Dr. Baburam Bhattrai, along with Father Principal, to proceed for the breakfast that is served downstairs. The invited guests, you may also join them and join for breakfast. Dear students, I have some announcement for you, so please be seated. The fathers and everyone can go. Everyone on the front row, I think, should go for the breakfast first. Okay, now it is our time. I have a couple of announcements. First of all, there is a slight change in today's schedule. If you have your the brochures, the second presentation of the day from 11:50 to 12:50, it will be by Father Martin Kutiseri SJ on the topic, the vulnerabilities of Nepali migrants in South India. It was in your schedule, it is written, Father Sarvaraj. Father Sarvaraj will be speaking tomorrow and Father Martin will be speaking today. Please note the change. The second change is the first session after lunch today will be the documentary presentation. In your schedule, it is written the panel discussion. After lunch, the first session will be the documentary presentation titled The Story of My Life. The video is shot by the trainees and volunteers of PI, a social outreach program of St. Xavier's College. The program, that video documentary will begin at 1:40 and will end at 2:10. The panel discussion from 2:30. Okay, now to more interesting business. We have special awards for excellent teams for engagement and discipline and positive vibrations, etc., etc., etc. Before that, I also would like to inform you that we are live on YouTube. Live streaming is going on. www.spexy.ed.nd. So behave well. For the panel discussion, you have an opportunity to submit questions ahead of time. In the sense, throughout this day, before the panel discussion, you can submit the questions to one beautiful lady standing right in front of you. Her name is Linda Bhattacharya. If you can show your face, yes. You can write the questions. By questions, I mean questions, not the essays. Precise and short for the panel discussions. And those questions will have priority, the ones that are submitted, rather than the ones that are going to be asked on the spot. Now, what will you write the questions on? Is a good question that you can ask me. The topic of the panel discussion is the gap between policies and implementation, linking immigration and immigration. The gap between policies and implementation, linking immigration and immigration. The panelists are, you can also write, ask your questions directed particularly to a panelist. The panelists are Dr. Vishnu Raj Upreti, Dr. Vishnu Raj Upreti, Dr. Anita Gimire, and Ms. Rupa Upreti. Dr. Vishnu Raj Upreti, Dr. Anita Gimire, and Ms. Rupa Upreti. The questions must be short and precise, and like I said, the priority during the panel discussion will be given to the questions that are given in writing before the panel discussions begin. There is a data exhibition of the posters flags related to the issue of migration in the room adjacent to this voting hall. Please have a look at the posters during the break, especially the Xaverians and other participants. I will tell you why later. Just for the sake of information, all the sessions will begin on time. Whether the presenter is here or not, doesn't matter. So please be seated at least 5 minutes before the scheduled time for the session. Once a session begins, you will be allowed in only through the back door. So if you want to get it through the front door, you have to be here 5 minutes ahead. Special note to our Xaverians. Actually, this is a thank you note for letting our guests from other colleges, letting them use the facilities of the restrooms right outside our hall. So Xaverians, since we are strong men and women, you can walk to the academic academic block and the administration block and do your emergencies there and allow our guests from other colleges to use these restrooms. For the guest's sake, we have one for the men and another one for the women. And also, dear Xaverians, thank you for letting the guests have breakfast, lunch, and tea first. They have assigned places. Let them sit first, and after that, if there are seats, you can sit. Otherwise, find somewhere to sit. Now, the Xaverians will leave only after 15 minutes of the guest leave, after the guest, okay? Now, during that 15 minutes, you have great opportunities to win on the spot prizes. After winning the prize, you clap. Now, during those 15 minutes, we will have quizzes, pop quizzes related to what is being discussed here, and also what is on the posters outside. Now we know why we should read the posters. The winners will be given attractive prizes. I am serious about it. They are very attractive. Again, once again, please be reminded that two most excellent teams at the seminar will be given special awards at the end of the seminar tomorrow evening. And you know, all of you will be given certificates, etc. That's all for now, ladies and gentlemen. Let us stand up for the college anthem as we conclude the inauguration functions now. Thank you and have a good day and enjoy your breakfast. Please be back by 10:35, before 10:35. It is exactly 10 a.m. now. Let us have the college anthem.
I would request everyone to proceed towards breakfast, please. Students who are upstairs, please wait for a moment. Just students who are downstairs may proceed towards breakfast. Students who are upstairs, please wait. Volunteers,
अर्को सानो सचिलो त यहाँबाट लिएर गयो यहाँबाट लिएर सिधै त्यहाँबाट यो अड्दैन क्या यहाँबाट बोक न यहाँ बोक्ने भनेको किन लाइभ लाइभ त्यो त गेम हो लाइभ हो युट्युबमा अनि यो देखाइरहेको छ देखिन्छ तल अलि तल अलि उता जाऊ आइया संस्कृति लाइभ भिडियो आरामले पोल्ट्री भने झ्याउ हुन्छ है udah bisa gitu kalau berapa
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a warm welcome to the first session of the South Asian Regional Seminar on the issue of migration in Nepal. This session will last for an hour. Like all the other sessions in the seminar, the speaker will present his thoughts for 30 minutes. After 25 minutes, the speaker will be notified through a placard that there is only 5 minutes left and the speaker will have to conclude his ideas. The presentation will be followed by a Q&A round where we will take a maximum of 4 questions. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is my honor to introduce you to the first speaker of the day, Dr. Ganesh Gurung. Dr. Gurung is a sociologist by training and holds a doctorate in the field of labor migration. He is the founding chairperson of Nepal Institute of Development Studies, NIDS, a non-governmental research organization established in 1998. Among the many honorable posts he has achieved, his influence as the vice chairman of Social Welfare Council, SWC, and as a member of the task force and convener in Ministry of Labour from 2007 till 2008 are noteworthy. He was also a member of the National Planning Commission 2009. Dr. Gurung has been involved in research in the field of migration since 1990 and has extensive knowledge on the issue of migration in Nepal. As the former chair of Nepal National Network of Safe Migration, NNSM, a non-profit making umbrella organization working on the issues of safe migration, his academic discourse is born out of wide contacts with grassroots organizations, which is reflected in his most work titled Labor Migration Between Nepal and India. Ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together and welcome Dr. Ganesh Gurung to present his paper titled Governance and Migration.
Good morning. Are you all right? Yeah. Okay. Before I start this, when I came to the room, I asked to one of the teachers what language I should use. He said, as you like. So I like my Guru language, so I will speak in Guru language. I hope he will translate. Right? Yeah. So before I start, I would like to address you. My address is not as usual, as other people do. Many people do, when they address, they will say, ladies and gentlemen. I oppose that. Ladies and gentlemen. This discriminates to ladies, as if they are not gentle. So I would say, gentle ladies and gentlemen. Then, considering our constitution, I would also not stop in gentle ladies and gentlemen. I would also say third word, that is gentle third sex, if any. Right. So,
When I see you guys, um, mostly young youths, then being as an ex-young man, I feel good to see you. Then it gives me great energy to speak today because of your age, and it reminds my age, right? So before I start my presentation, right? So I am asked to speak 30 minutes about governance and migration. So what it means about governance? It is a larger controversial debate about the definition of governance. But to make it short, right, I have jotted down five elements, five ingredients of governance. पाँचवटा मसला छ गभर्नेन्समा यो पाँचवटा मसला तपाईँले राख्नुभयो भने यो सुप भयङ्कर मिठो हुन्छ. This soup will be very, very tasty soup that I can tell you, right? Number one is participation, and number two is accountability, and number three is equity and inclusiveness, and number four is effectiveness, and number five is fairness. All right. This also includes the transparency. So from this lens, I will be talking about migration, especially going from Nepal to Gulf and Malaysia, which is also we call labor migration, right? But that labor migration I will see from the lens of governance of these five ingredient masala that I told you, right? Yeah. Before I go to that, you must not forget, right? One of the important element masala of governance is transparency. Can anyone tell me in international ranking out of 180 where Nepal falls? Anyone has a wild guess? How much? Glass with glass. 200% wrong. Anyone from this side? Young lady. $100 wrong. 200% wrong. Anyone else? 125. 90% wrong. Okay, I will tell you. The reason I am asking you is out of 180 countries, they were ranked in terms of corruption. Nepal's the last one report. Nepal's first 122. Right? Someone has said so. All right. Do you know which is the number one? Nigeria. Yan is same. Yeah, yes, it starts from Yan. New Zealand is number one, the top ranking in terms of corruption. Right, number one. Right, they are the best. They score the lowest score in the corruption. Right. Do we know which is the last country? 180. Somalia, right? So this is as a part of the transparency, governance falls under that, right? So we need to see governance from the perspective of these all five ingredients that I have told you. So in Nepal is 122nd ranking country. Within that framework, we need to understand the migration, how fair it is, how transparent it is, right? So that I will a little bit show you some of the example, right? These people are not going to St. Xavier's College. Do you think they are going to St. Xavier's College? You guys are lucky guys, right? You could go to St. Jail's country, right? One time in my village, there was a big discussion how our village school can be improved. Everyone said this and this is that. One of my cousin brothers, who was very drunk, he told me I have a good idea. The name of the school was Fulbari Prathamik School. Then he said, this drunk man has what good idea? He said, we should keep this, we should change the name of this school. Then he said, why? How? Saint Fulbari, that will become a better one. Right? This is the country, these are the people queuing up to roll out, to register to go to Korea. Right? Unfortunately, right, they are not going for any Saint college or any other good college, but they were trying to go to Korea, right? So you should understand every day, to give you the macro picture of Nepal, is every day nearly 1,200 people go to Gulf and Malaysia. And you are not one of them so far. That's good luck, right? This figure, 1,200 people per day, does not include those going to India, which is also even bigger number in terms of migrating seasonal or permanently, right? And these 1,200 people who go to Gulf and Malaysia is the bloodline of Nepal's economy. Forget about garment, forget about carpet, forget about industries of Nepal, right? But this is the muscle that we are sending, and this is the money. The whole economy is running by that, right? Can you guess what is this? National Sports Stadium. And this is not the crowd for football World Cup. This is the crowd for registering again in going to Korea. And this was the day, the longest queue that I have ever seen Kathmandu, from Tripureshwar to Koteshwar, from Tripureshwar to Kalangi. The queue, the longest queue in the history of Nepal. This is how it is being done. But this process is very, very troublesome, and which has made the governance very weak. Why they are weak? Because they are not organized. These people are not organized. Because the agents in between are very powerful. They are with all the pajaros, and they are organized, and they can bargain with the government, talk about free visa, free ticket, something like that. So the governance is very weak in this process. That is the big problem of Nepal, right? Then you should also know the unemployment rate of Nepal is 2.1, and the largest number of unemployment is your age. See here, from 19 to 29 or 26 is the largest number of people unemployed in Nepal. And this is a difficult question to us. This is a difficult question that has been not addressed from the last 65 years of Nepal's development. So from the lens that I'm wearing now from the governance is, the largest number of unemployment is rate. The unemployment rate all over the country is unevenly spread. That is also the governance problem, right? So you should also see why 2.1 unemployment rate. Underemployment is 40 to 50%, and definition that we use is international definition. That's why unemployment rate is so low. So as I told you, the biggest problem that we have, as I told you, unemployment, which is a root cause of conflict that Dr. Bhavran Bhattai told, right? That every year 500,000 people come to the labor market. Nearly 4.5 lakh people go to Gulf and Malaysia. Only 50,000 is observed in Nepal. Until and unless we create job every year for these people, right, the problem will remain same. This is the problem, right? So, who goes? People who are going to St. Xavier College will not go to Gulf of Malaysia. You guys are lucky. But you also go. There is a B, C, D group. A group, you you come to belong to A group. A group go to America, Australia, and UK. Or sometimes in Canada. There is also a little bit B group. They go to Europe, right? Germany and all the things. There is a C group. They go Hong Kong, and all this group. They go to India. As per their economic status, they go accordingly to less and less lucrative countries, right? So most of them belong to A group, right? Is there anyone that belongs to B group? No. Right. So this is the characteristics of going to Gulf and Malaysia. So from the lens of the remittance also going to it is distributed unevenly, right? The Gulmi, Araphanchi, Shanja, these are the places where large remittances are going on. So, what are the major structure of a Nepal government or rules and regulations that governs the foreign labor migration? Is the two Foreign Employment Act and Foreign Employment Regulation. This is the two major. Of course, there is a passport and other thing, Nagarita and other thing, but these are the two major acts and regulations that governs this migration. Who are the stakeholders? These are the stakeholders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 stakeholders. They govern the whole labor migration process. Then I did this kind of exercise for Qatar, right? The process of going how a small a person starts, going to different places, or his file starts and reaches to destination. Interestingly, you must know this part, right? So, when Dr. in peace process in 2006, along with his then chairman, I had a discussion, right? His chairman told me, we did 1 decade long conflict, and we thought that Nepal's economy will collapse, and that did not collapse. Dr. couldn't tell me what is the reason. I told them remittances. Carpet is gone, garment is gone, pasmina is gone, tourism is gone, industry is gone. But how come the Nepal's economy was still running in Nepal? It was remittances. Not only it was sustaining the economy, but the poverty was also going down. Look at here. This in 2003 and 4, right? The poverty was 31%. And if you see in 2096, that I didn't bring here, 2096, the poverty was 42% when the conflict started. In 2003 and 4, 2006 was the peace process that started. That came from 42 to 31. And from 31, the poverty reduction, Garibi Rekhamuni, is 25 in 2006. 11. What did this magic happen? Because Deva from Videsh, remittances that came to Nepal, that I told you, every day 2 billion rupees every day coming to Nepal. Right? But the interesting is, this is a good part, right? Someone in the chart outside has shown. Can you guess what is this? Comment. पैसा कमाउन हेरेको छोरा बाकसमा आउँदैछ. So this is also, you can see from the perspective of governance. This boy or girl maybe, or third sex, I don't know, right? Who successfully conducted his medical exam in Nepal and went to foreign country. After a few months or few years, he died. And it was told that many of them are told that they had heart attack or anything like that. So this is also one part of the governance of the medical examination, that stakeholders that I just told you, they don't conduct medical exam as properly as it should be. That is why today not only 2 billion rupees per day is coming, but every day per day 2 to 3 dead bodies are coming like this. So this is, I use the word social cost that Nepali society is bearing with. So these are the reasons why they tell. And so all these are reasons, but the problem is the governance perspective we can see is these are all, sorry, this is done on the basis not because of postmortem, but because of the airlines that carry the dead body needs of medical report. So they are not based on the postmortem. So from the perspective of governance, there is no postmortem of dead body, and reasons are here. So we can see this perspective of governance also. So this is the one example of bad governance of Nepal in labor migration. So most vulnerable group, do you know who is the most vulnerable group in labor migration? Can anyone guess? Huh? Who? Kanali Sundara. Do you know most vulnerable group in among the migrants? Who? Women. Among women, those going to work in IT sector? No. Those women who are going to work as a household worker, housemaids in the houses, in the big compound wall, inside the big compound wall, inside the compound wall there is a big locked door, and inside the house there are rooms they can lock. There are 3 major hurdles to go anyone to find what is happening there. So what made them more vulnerable is like this. The Nepal government has sometimes banned the woman to go abroad to work as a housemaid. Sometimes the government has kept the conditions. This man 80 women as now. And that all policy changes have made them more vulnerable, and the agents who are working there can convince that this is a bad thing, so that don't tell anyone. If you tell anyone, I cannot take you for a lucrative job. That makes, from the governance perspective, this becomes frequent change in the policy has made them more and more vulnerable. So this is the one story, the biggest evidence of governance. The gentleman in the picture is Lilamani Paudel, the then Chief Secretary of the Nepal government. Chief Secretary of the Nepal government was briefing to the cabinet, and he was briefing that every day 20 lakhs rupees or 2 million corruption in one single office, that was Department of Foreign Employment. I have 5 minutes left. I have interesting things, right? So, but I will stop here, right? So he was telling, the Chief Minister of Nepal was telling to Prime in the cabinet that 2 million 20 lakh rupiah corruption in one particular department of the foreign employment. So you can see how much other beyond that, how much corruption is there from rural village, from household to up to the destination the person reaches. This shows the governance level, how much corrupted that system that we have in Nepal in the field of migration. So I will stop here, right? So let us say there is a foreign employment promotion board. Every person going abroad pay 1,000 rupees to on this board fund, and to manage that, there is no representative from the migrant community there. That shows the corruption or the governance level in Nepal, right? I'm sorry, my time is up, so that I need to stop here. So major issues, the access to information, cheating is largely rampant, and free visa, free ticket is a kind of slogan, and that if because of time, I will tell only one sentence about a free visa, a free ticket is there is a divorce between free visa, free ticket, and the real situation. Institutions that we have made, there are so many institutions, there is no one window, one stop service center Nepal has not established yet. The structures that we have there is a form from the perspective of governance, and there is no punishment and a reward system, access to finance, through that there is no voting rights of migrants. If there was voting right, Nepali migrant could have done from Saudi Arabia or Bahrain or Qatar or politician would have addressed this. Why governance is weak is because they don't have political right to vote. So that makes the problem right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for such an educational presentation. Now, we begin with the Q&A. We have time for 4 questions. Please stand up in your place if you have a question. The volunteers will bring the microphone to you. Questions must be short and precise. Please mention your college name and table number before asking the questions.
My name is Shannon Tawang, and I am from Canada. Thank you.
Very good presentation, sir. I have a question. You have mentioned a thing, with the increase in remittance, poverty has gone down. Let us say that with the increase in remittance, poverty in the country has gone down. I would really want to know if it is, that is a true face that poverty has really gone down, or is it just an apparent decrease in the poverty in the country? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm from St. Louis College, BA third year. My question is like this. As you said, corruption is happening every day, as we saw it in magazine as well. We all citizens, responsible citizens, have already known about it, but I want to ask, what are the government plan in constitution, the recent constitution and also in Bulletin, what are the plans made in order to control the corruption? Yes, thank you.
Namaste, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. My name is Swarninath Ramchand and I'm from Central Department of English, Tribhuvan University. One thing that is a part of governance yet unseen force behind migration would be the institutions, the educational institutions who do not focus on practical classes. So what do you think would be some great changes, some significant changes if the schools and colleges will start teaching more vocational kind of courses? Thank you.
Thank you.
One more question.
From balcony. Yeah, you guys are what? Snoring or listening?
I'm Samik Chavata from St. James College. My patent number is 14. So, very nice presentation, so I really enjoyed it. So, my question was there's a huge number of people being murdered in the Gulf countries. So, I want to know if there's any provision to convict those murderers and is there any effort made by our government to convict those murderers?
Now we have finished with the questions.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy with these 5 questions. Number one, Ms. Tamang, there are policies for betterment, and but why it is, how it is happening. As I told earlier, you must understand that my sentence that I used earlier, there is a divorce between policy and reality and implementation, right? So the problem is, we know the policies are made with all good intentions, but the implementations are not done well intentioned and on the basis of reality. That makes the problem still exist there. Of course, there is some kind of changes in the situation, but new problems are coming. So that until and unless there is a love marriage between these policies and the implementation, it will never go in a reality, right? Number two, the person without name. Remittance and poverty, it has gone down. Why it has gone down or apparent, right? Let me see from this perspective. This is a good question, right? And many economists they make this kind of question, right? If you then if it is not a remittance, then what is the factor, right? It is only 2 billion rupees every day coming. Then what else is bringing money then? One point. Second point is 56% of the Nepal's total household receive every day large amount of money. And interestingly, there is no corruption in transferring this money. Effective, right? The money is earned in Qatar, right? And the money is being remitted to Prabhu, IME and all these things, thanks that this private company in the world first time innovated transferring the money from one place to the next place. And the money from that young man of working in Qatar, he can remit to his wife's name in London basis or in real time, in no time. The only fraction of the money goes for the money transferring company. So if it was coming as a foreign aid, Japanese grant or any Asian grant coming from Nepal government and North Mantralaya and all goes down. So how much it will trickle down, we all know. You must have studied foreign aid and Nepal's development, right? The money from Qatar to that basis it exactly her or her husband. That has created a larger impact to Nepal's poverty. That's why 42 to 31, 31 to 25, and even now it has gone down. It has helped, right? And there are economists that they claim that okay, road access has increased and communication system has because of mobility has increased and all these things. I don't agree that. If mobile has increased, the cost has, the expenses has increased. बोल्नु पर्यो नि घटाउ हैन so that has increased the expenses, not the income, right? So I agree, maybe 20% of all this other factor is there, but 80% that I would claim because of remittances. If we, the World Bank top economist does actually made an analysis of all these things based on this question. Then he came to a conclusion, right? He came to conclusion that it was because of remittance that it is happening, right? I hope you agree with my point. Number three, 20 lakhs per day is the corruption in one particular office, a Nepal office. Then what is the plan to control? So after that report, right? So there were many amendments and control measures were taken, but the result has, I assume, it is not 20 lakh; it has increased more. Again, there is a divorce between what is implemented and what is planned, right? The fourth is, Swarning's question is education. I don't have much time, so that I will tell only one application. For education, we need to make OGT, on the job training thing. We have been saying that we need vocational education, but we never said OGT. We need more hands-on work done. Unless we increase or 80% of OGT and 20% only theory class. Why Butol Technical Institute graduate 100% graduate is employed? Because of OGT, right? In short, the last question is, Samit's question is, why murder happening? Yeah, happening. There are few murder that are Nepali embassies and Nepal government and the person's family cannot hire the lawyer in the destination country. They are very expensive. Number one, and number two, many of the boss that I showed, they are not murdered. They are heart attack or because of heat and all these things. There are these reasons. But I don't know the reasons that I told you why they died. They are artificial. Unless and until we can keep the post-mortem system of the dead body, no one can tell why it happened, right? So Nepal government, the labor agreement was unable, failed, subject like a rato, which is the labor agreement one. That has not been able to keep a post-mortem system in our labor agreement system. That is why it is happening. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. As we have time left, we will be taking in two more questions. One question has already been written down, and we will be expecting another question.
Oh, please.
Good morning, sir. Here, balcony, sir.
Oh, lots of people. Go ahead. A group, A group.
So you just told that religion somehow reduced the poverty from 31 to 25, 25 to something like that. But decrease in poverty not help in the growth or not improve the quality of life, I think. So how you define these like or in large?
Okay. Quality of life and poverty reductions are related to somehow, but they are also a very different thing also, right? Let me give you example, and this is how you will understand. Right, there is also big debate of this remittance is not being used in productive sector, right? But that is a very layman excuse or a very broad comment, right? What is important is you should understand in the process of remittance and this poverty reduction and this quality of life is, first of all, when people go to Bahrain, when they remit money, the first lot, first year, second year, third year of the remittance will be used in paying back their debt. Very important. Because of interest rate or if they have taken loan from their relatives. After graduating from the loan, when they are free from the loan, they will graduate to next stage. Then they will use their remittances for maybe changing their roof from grass roof to tin roof. Maybe they want to the wife will bring from the common tap water tap water tap to their house. Maybe they will make a pit latrine, right? Basic thing that they will improve. After graduating that second level, when they go to third level, they want to send their children from government school to high school, private school, better education, right? Maybe their food habit is, food consumption pattern is changed, right? Then earlier one, because they have graduated from first and second and third. Then on fourth level, they want to migrate from rural village to roadhead in the name of good education and good health. After doing that, when they graduate from fourth level and fifth level, they want to buy a piece of land in the absence of other attractive government schemes. Then they want to build up a small house. Then where is this productive sector? Productive sector त्यो एकजना त्यो अर्का खाँचीको भाइ है इम्प्लोइमेन्ट भएन भनेर इकोनोमिक्सहरूले भन्छ, तर त्यो अर्का खाँचीको एउटा भाइ कतारमा काम गर्न गएको हो, उसको उद्देश्य त्यहाँ गएर फर्केर आएर चाउचाउ उद्योग खोलेर जुन चौधरीलाई डाउन गर्न गएको होइन. He went Qatar to improve his family standard. So why do you compare with employment and productive sector? It is his private life and it is his choice. I have 10 rupees. It is my plan. What is my priority? Where I want to use this 10 rupees, right? So the important thing is quality of life is gradually that increases from maybe from government school to private school is a part of quality life from his perspective, right? He has fit judgment, he has more nutritious food, that is a quality of life. And there is a question here, can I answer this? The question is KMC. So from the report of the last year, our youth outside the world sent $780 million, yet we see the governance activity lesser. Do we only look after remittance? We don't, yeah, we look at remittance, but we also look at governance. We also see at any other aspect. The person like me, I'm a scientist. I do research on this thing. Then we do research on totality. Today, I'm asked to speak about through the lens of governance, so that I speak more on focus on that. If I had 3 hours long class, then I would have talked about many other aspects of the labor migration. But the time is limited, so that I had to focus on that.
So thank you very much for a wonderful presentation about the different issues of migration, post-migration. Now, this one, if you look at the population of Nepal, it is much less than a small state population in India. But if you see the land mass and you see the possibilities and resources, I think Nepal is as rich as any other country with regard to its minerals and with regard to its land mass. But why still there is so much of people who are out migrating, there's a forced migration. I understand that there's a voluntary migration, and the remittance from the voluntary migration is an asset to the society, to the nation. But a remittance from an involuntary migration, or forced and distress migration, they're not considered as a country, but it's a big liability because the major labor force which is supposed to build the country are moving out to build our country. It's a big lack that happens in a country like this. So what you think are causes, or what you think are the land to have still a huge forced migration in this country?
Yeah, very good question, right? My will be 122. Do you know what is 122? Corruption rate. So because we are 122. As I showed you, the secretary was showing. Secretary himself is telling to cabinet, right? In particular department, there is a 20 lakh rupees corruption every day, right? So large amount of money, as you asked very correctly, if this money was also coming through government process, then poverty would not have reduced this much. This money is coming straight to their bank account. That's why it is happening, right? So corruption is number one that is happening. So to tell you in short, right, we need to improve our governance. That's why your topic is very, very timely and very, very appropriately suitable for this discussion that you should be understanding, right? Of course, there are many other reasons, right? If there is opportunity to work in Nepal, why a young man would go, leaving his lovely wife and children, to work in 52-degree heat in Damascus, all right? So why more than 1,200 people, the people from Beacon, Farmers and Nepal are migrating to particular place? As I was talking to a friend from Bangalore, right? When I went to conduct a study in Bangalore, I found a mini Bazhang in one toll. One street is known as a mini Bazhang. All people from there, they have gone from Bazhang to Bangalore because of historical reason of Jayapati Bahadur Singh. All right. So this has made us? Again, the answer is governance, that we need to improve the transparency level, corruption rate, and all this has to be reduced.
Thank you, sir. Now, that is all we have time for now. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to place on record our deepest appreciation and gratitude to you, Dr. Gurung, for your insightful presentation and inspiring presence. May I now ask Father Jamonjos S.J., Vice Principal of St. Xavier's College, to present Mr. Ganesh Gurung with a token of love.
Can I use the mic? Sorry. I was the one who told Dr. Gurung that he can speak in any language. Then he said he would speak in Gurung language, then I told him I will translate it for him. I am happy that I didn't have to do that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Father. Gentle ladies and gentlemen, with this, the first session of the South Asian Seminar on the issue of migration comes to an end. For those who like to take a short break now, you may do so. Please return to your seats before 11:40 a.m. Thank you and have a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Allow me to introduce you to the speaker of the second session of the South Asian Regional Seminar on the issue of migration in Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I introduce Father Martin PhD, our speaker for the session. Father Martin, PhD, is a Jesuit father belonging to the Calcutta province of the Society of Jesus. Currently, Father Martin is the head of Liver and Migration Unit at the Indian Social Institute, ISI Bangalore. As you know, ISI Bangalore is the co-host of the South Asian Regional Seminar on the issue of migration in Nepal. Father Martin has a first-hand experience of working with migrants in the southern Indian state of Kerala, including Nepali migrants. He led the migrant workers movement in Kerala for several years. As the head of the Labour and Migration Unit at ISI Bangalore, Father Martin organizes and facilitates national and international seminars on various pressing social issues at the forefront of which is the issue of migration. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Father Martin, PhD, with a huge round of applause to speak to us on the topic vulnerabilities of Nepali workers in South India. Father Martin, please.
Good morning, everybody. Okay. I will start straight away to the topic. Labor migration from Nepal to India. Migration is the major determining factor of the Nepali economy. Remittance income makes up nearly 23% of Nepal's gross domestic product, according to Nepal Migration Yearbook 2010. In the 2010-11 fiscal year, more than 3 lakh Nepali migrated abroad for work. Now, coming to the treaty between India and Nepal. The bilateral treaty between India and Nepal in 1950 establishes that there exists an open border between the two countries, which means that citizens of both the nations can travel and work in either of the countries without being treated differently. According to a report in 2004, 200 Nepalis crossed the border to India every hour. That was some almost 40 years back. And you are all familiar with the treaty between India and Nepal. All Indians as well as Nepali citizens can go to both the countries for studies as well as work. The 2001 Nepali census recorded Nepali. However, the actual number will be much higher. What is the reason for that? Because Nepalese migrants do not need a visa. So the official record there will not be that how many cross over to India for work or studies. So this is only kind of estimate, the actual number will be much higher. Largest number of Nepalese migrants in India is contributed by the fact that migrants require very little skill, they do not need visa to go to India, geographical proximity and open border with the road travels. There are different borders through roads we can pass through to different parts of India. As a result, it is easily accessible to go. Now, this is the previous speaker. I am just giving the table regarding that. He gave A, B, C, D, E. Who are those which are the countries going? Nepalese workers' choice of destination, socio-economic status, economic group wise, that is richest. Now, choice of destination country, Canada, South Korea, Taiwan, and finally the last, economically after socially. So some are coming. Yes, sir. Why? You go to India. This is I have quoted from this, already the speaker was here. Most socially in India, what we call Dalits, poorest, less educated, those who are well educated, but those who are least educated plus economically and socially backward groups are more vulnerable. Now, in India, what we say, every third Indian migrant is most headed towards South India now. Because my topic or what I am going to do is mostly to southern part of India. These are the states in South India, we call it. Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Pondicherry. These are the states, the extreme south, the peninsula. I have mentioned here the states, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And from Nepal, these are the people going to the south. So labor migration from Nepal to South India. Why I say this one, there have been migrants in smaller scale area. For last 20 years, a large number of people are moving to southern part of India. Now, one of the states is Tamil Nadu. We have statistics from there. Nepal is in Tamil Nadu. There was a report saying that there is students in Chennai, CA, MBA, regarding 5 lakhs are in Chennai. That is the capital, political capital of Tamil Nadu state. About 200 families or more have ration cards among these Nepalis. Nepalis mostly work as security guards, cooks, drivers, peons and laborers. 7 lakhs is a big number. It is within a small state in India. In Karnataka, that is where Bangalore is the capital of Karnataka state, we have Nepalese migrants to seek dual citizenship. There was a report some time back. This was a concert program arranged in Bangalore. The Migrant Nepalese Association began its South Indian operations in 1985, and the organization is called like this, Nepalese in Bangalore. They have an organization working on, and they come together, they have annual functions in Bangalore. They are mostly economically and socially backward. Able ones, they are not financially well off, they are not mostly businessmen going, but they are organized discrimination and violence, exploitation. On these other states, there is a what we call it remaining languages, which has no similarity with alien languages, including Nepali or Hindi. And these states, hardly even 1% people speak or they can understand Hindi. And all those scripts are entirely different. Remaining languages versus Indo-Aryan languages, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam and Telugu are the major South Indian languages, and they have no similarity with the Nepali or Hindi. Understanding and learning the local language is a major challenge for the Nepali migrant workers in southern states. South Indian languages are major challenges for Nepalis for their communication with the local population, to understand the instructions of the employers, for traveling and for knowledge of labor laws and labor rights. Why I said southern states are very different. The other states, at least they can follow Hindi, somewhat at least. But southern states, very few can follow Hindi. As a Nepali citizen, they will not understand easily Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, or those Malayalam, those languages. This is one of the photos in Bangalore, the railway station, which includes, of course, not only the Nepalis, the mixed population coming in. There are also Nepalis in the group. Now, second vulnerability I pointed out is the exclusion. Though according to the treaty, they should not be treated differently between the Indians as well as Nepalis. Should not be treated differently, but there are exclusions. Nepalese workers are excluded from most of the labor rights. Excluded from ESI, Provident Fund, right compensation, overtime payment, etc. Deprived of entitlements such as ration. Very poor people, they also require what we call a ration. Public distribution system provides minimal food items. Because of their Nepali citizens, by and large they do not get. There are few are getting. Also the health cards which are available to other locals, but they will not, Nepali citizens will not get that. 24% of the Nepali migrants in India saw Indian workers are receiving work-related benefits. According to study, 24% saw others getting, but not get. Membership of the trade unions and provident funds, that also is part of it. Only 15% of the respondents reported receiving the kind of benefit, what we call it, work-related benefits, what we mentioned, ESI, Employees Provident Fund, Employees State Insurance, Provident Fund, etc. Now, Nepalis in Chennai cry foul, this was a news report in 2015. Nepalis in Chennai cry foul over ration cards. Because they also wanted ration cards, some of them got, but most of them did not get. So they said excluded from ration cards, health insurance, etc. Excluded from social legal protection, social security coverage, and access to health care and social services. It's also came from International Organization for Migration Nepal, India Migration Corridor Study done in 2016. They are excluded from all these social legal protection, social security coverage, and access to health care and social services. The third vulnerability I have mentioned is xenophobia. Some of you might be familiar with this term. Always the other is looked at as possible threat to criminals. We, they. So as a result, lot of prejudice stereotypes comes in. Mindset, the attitude towards the other. So Nepalese migrant workers are often soft targets for the police, administration, and the locals in South India. They are viewed as outsiders who vitiate the traditional culture and unbalanced law and order. There have been some incidents in different parts of southern India. The constant vilification of the Nepalese workers often becomes a tool for putting the crimes that are committed by the locals on them. There are reported cases where Nepalese migrant workers were beaten up based on suspicion and rumors. If something stolen a part in a place, very often there are some around 150 of them come.